So I don't have time to plant tomato seeds and grow tomato plants. So what I'm doing is, specifically, here's 2 branches I just cut off my Paul Robeson. One of the most favorite tomatoes I've ever had in my life was introduced to me last year from Gracious Farms, from Greg and Carla and their daughter. So I planted them this year, but somehow I screwed up the tags. I don't really know where my Paul Robesons are growing, but right now, I know for a fact that my one plant produced some beautiful tomatoes. So I cut some branches off. I cleaned up the stem. You see there's nothing on the stem? And now I got some milk jugs. I'm gonna fill them with water, and I'm gonna root these 2 plants. That should give me enough of a head start that I will get some Paul Robeson off of these plants before October. Now, we'll see how it works out. There's no way I'm not gonna try. I could have left these 2 branches on the plant. It was the last 2 branches. Maybe it produces more tomatoes, but if I root them and I get planted way down in the dirt and I give it some time, I'll get a lot more tomatoes out of it eventually. We still have several crops that are about to start producing. They're flowering. I have some tomatoes right over here, if you can see through my workstation. All right, we have pink boar, and we have these other ones that are blue and brown. I got all kinds of tomatoes that are starting to flower, and they're growing like crazy. But I have to get my Paul Robesons. Okay, we have a long bed. This long bed has the big giant Kellogg's beefsteak. It's well on its way. This is going to be the bed that produces our 2nd crop. The 3rd crop, they growing pretty strong. Couple more weeks, they might be big enough to start flowering. I'm now cloning a bunch of branches off our favorite plants from the year, so we can get a 4th crop. I'm planning on having plenty of tomatoes. Aside from having some kind of a tornado or something crazy happening, we're gonna have tomatoes this year like we've never had. And they're coming in. Wait till you see the basket we just finished picking. Karen had to help me because I'll be late for work. Might have to get a bag to hang these melons because they're growing on a cage. I guess I screwed up. I thought those were cucumbers. Nope, it was melons. It's okay, some are on the ground, some are on the cage. Cucumbers haven't started to grow yet. They're still just flowering. And, well, you saw the squash. We already have baby squash. Over there we have our big squash raised beds, but I'm not going over there. Got to get out of here. Just wanted you to see these melons hanging. Coast of Maine is still taller than the other plants. Actually, it's just a bigger tomato plant. Has some bigger leaves, more branches. But they all have tomatoes. They're all growing. If I had them in 15-gallon buckets, I think they would really thrive. 5-gallon buckets is working a lot better for other plants like the peppers and some of the other things we planted in the buckets are doing fine. But as far as tomatoes, 5-gallon buckets are okay, but I think 15-gallon pots would put them over the top. But right now, Coast of Maine is still towering above Miracle Grow and above our dirt by about 4 or 5 more inches. It's got at least double the plant growth as far as branches and leaves. But they all have some tomatoes. We'll see how it works. And for the middle of August, our tomatoes are still doing phenomenal. 2nd crop, as you see in the other video, 2nd crop is well on its way. 3rd crop is well on its way. Now I'm starting clones for the 4th crop, and I got some plants we planted, never got them in the ground. So I'm about to pop them in because they want to grow. I'm just going to give them a place to do it. Artichokes, most of them are taken off. I don't know that we'll have artichokes this year. but they should be strong enough to winter. I'll put some pots over them with leaves. Corn, we got a lot of corn growing for our little tiny homestead anyway. It's not like we got a big field to grow it in, but we learned a lot about the corn, and if you plant more, they hold each other up. For the most part, well, let me just show you what Karen and I pulled in today. That's well over 20 pounds of tomatoes today. The tomatoes keep coming in. Peppers are growing like crazy. Squash is growing. Melons are growing. 3 apples, they grew. We had blueberries. We had blackberries. This all the way around. This year has been the most productive year as far as seeing the fruits of our labor. But man, the knowledge that we have come to this year, the wisdom, the understanding, and knowledge all works together. Next year is going to be, well, there's no telling. As long as we're here, we're going to do it. Okay, that's our first pepper, our first yellow pepper. We got yellow, a whole bunch, red, purple, orange, but there's the first one. And you know I'll save the seeds out of that one for sure. It's a good day. This is all around a good day. Okay, I dumped the tomatoes out and then that happened. That's just one day. I don't even know what to say. It's just, I don't even know what to say. Totally crazy. That'd be the black crim. And you know what we're about to do is eat a sandwich.